So we just got some big news regarding Apple. And I'll go over that in just a little bit. I just want to do a little recap here to get a better idea of what's going on. So as of last week, Apple here had put in 15 requests to become excluded from the tariffs that are going to be regarded on parts involving MacBook Pro parts. And 10 of those were actually approved. So that was seen as a pretty big win, obviously. 10 of the 15 parts they requested were approved and not have to pay tariffs on, which, all things considered, that sounds pretty nice. But the more shocking news is just today, or Monday, Apple confirms that the manufacturing for the next MacBook Pro will remain in Austin, Texas. That's right. So at least they're going to be manufacturing the MacBook Pro in Austin, Texas. Now, as far as getting the parts themselves, I believe that still a majority of these are going to be outsourced and imported in, which is why they went ahead and did that. They went to get those exclusions on tariffs, and they actually, getting 10 out of 15 is pretty crazy. Crazy news as is. It'll save them a lot of money, obviously, regarding those tariffs. But it is exciting to see that Apple is going to be keeping their production in the United States. And why is that exciting? So to me, it's going to be exciting due to the fact that what's going to come of this? This is kind of a big news story, because what is going to happen if one of the biggest corporations out there is now going to start their manufacturing coming here to the United States? And that's the main cause of this trade war, to be honest. Just to go back to a previous tweet, when you are the big piggy bank that other countries have been ripping off for years, to a level that is not believed. Tariffs are a great negotiating tool, a great revenue producer, and most importantly, a powerful way to get companies to come back to the United States of America, and to the companies that left us for other lands. Come back home. That's right. The main point here, one of the main points of this trade war as a whole even, was an attempt to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And my question here is this a trend that's going to continue? Are we going to see an increase now in other companies coming back and more doing production in the United States? I could say it's certainly a possibility. That's really the point of these tariffs. It's so that way we can stop using all that cheap labor in China and get some American jobs off of all these consumer products that are purchased in America. Just kind of makes sense in the long run. Obviously, labor is real cheap in China, and that's why everyone does it. Labor's super cheap in China, so it's very smart, very practical business decisions. So as far as manufacturing in the United States, we'll have to see how that goes. It depends on the companies, obviously. Some companies are still going to do it just because, again, those cheap labor costs, that they'll go ahead and eat those tariffs. Because sometimes building in the USA, especially with, fear of strikes, it's crazy right now if you think about it. Mostly from union organizations. Definitely not a proponent of unions myself, for a good reason. So GM is now on strike, obviously. All about wages. And since they are all concerned, they refuse to work because they don't believe they're getting paid a decent wage. And obviously they're going to get what they want eventually once they sign that contract. Or the union signs that contract, that is. Which is crazy, having a union barter for you. I just find that crazy. If you don't like the job, what it's paying you, just find a new job. That's my opinion in the matter. But obviously wages are rising, and it's going to cost a lot more to produce those parts and everything in the United States. So it's going to be interesting to see. Will costs go up because of this? What's going to happen? Is it a trend? I'm going to be interested to see. So I'd say double check. Keep on looking at this. See if other companies follow this trend. All right.